Hello and welcome to part two of Meet the Squad of the Wolves Report FC. The Wolves Report are taking part in the Charity 7-a-side tournament organised by Always Wolves alongside the Wolves Foundation, where we hope to raise £5,000 plus for a fantastic organisation that do a lot in the community in and around Wolverhampton. Part of the deal to sign up your players to your squad is they have to have been involved with a podcast or a space or something like that. So I've been doing that this week. We're a small podcast. It's only me and Tyler playing. Nockie's going to be our director of football that day. So we've recruited out one of the guys I've known for quite a long time. We first met actually on the pitch at Molineux. Dave Lewis, thank you for joining me.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you, Rob.
Dave, did you play in centre midfield that night? We played against Tyler, who was in goal. I can't remember who you played.
I actually played centre back that day, and I was that determined to be the captain. Right, we did a private auction, and I think I ended up bidding about 300 quid for the captaincy, and then they told me after that the next lowest bid or something was about 20 quid. So I got shafted a little bit that day, but no, mate, it was a day. I think, you obviously remember well. Scoring
but I wish Tyler was on, because he really doesn't like the fact that I scored at the North Bank, and he said I shanked it, but I put it in the corner. But hey, a goal's a goal. Also join us recruiting for our team, recruiting from yourself, Dave, your cousin Billy. Billy, I think.
Hi guys.
How you doing, Billy? You've played a bit of football yourself. Spent a bit of time at a decent level, youth level, playing well.
Yeah, never nice talking about yourself, is it? But yeah, I've played to a decent standard. Actually on trial for Wolves when I was younger. Never made it though, which broke my heart.
Well, now's your chance. We're gonna put them them wrongs right at Compton, and when we bring the cup home, hopefully. But it is going to be reasonably competitive. But the main thing is to have a laugh, enjoy ourselves, and raise a lot of money as well. Greza, you can see his camera's shy. He's telling us his camera's not working. I reckon he'd outshine us with his handsomeness being on the one on the screen. But Dave Greswell hiding behind the camera. Greza, a recruit from Tom. Also, thanks for joining us.
Hiya, Ryan. Hello, lads. I played Sunday League football. That's the sort of level I got to. Used to play for the school with Tom and on a Sunday League. That's how I know him through school and Sunday League. I was always known as good to get about the pitch. Yeah, well, that was 10 years ago. So
unfortunately, Greza, I'm going to need that again. I'm 45 now. Most of my good play comes out of my mouth, and that doesn't make sense. So I think me and Tyler, Dave, you're a little bit younger than me, aren't you, Dave, as well? So I think we'll be the three statues with the engine of Billy and Greza in front of us.
I'm not sure about that.
I'll do my best to still get around the pitch.
I'm sure you'll be good. What I really like here is obviously the Wolves connection as well. Obviously, Billy had a trial. Sorry to bring that up. Dave goes to Wolves now. You can see all the stuff in the background. Greza, Wolves fan, me season ticket holder as well, and all the other lads as well, apart from one who's a sponsor, who's Ollie, the goalkeeper. But yeah, really delighted to get some really good lads on board. Now we found out a little bit about yourselves. We know about the tournament. If obviously saying it's open to you guys, you've seen it on the group chat. If anyone wants to come along that day, it's £5 a ticket to come in. It's in Compton, the Wolves training ground. It'll be in the Dome there. So anyone watching, the link will be up on here. I'm going to put up shortly the Just Giving page. If you do want to come, put your names on there. It's £5 a ticket. Friends, family. If you want to see any of us guys falling over, not being able to breathe, that'll be mainly me. But it all goes to a great foundation. As I mentioned before, the Wolves Foundation does some fantastic work in and around the Wolverhampton area. Let's get away from us. Let's talk about Wolves. Dave, it's been a bit of a stinky start to the season for Wolves. Is that a reality check, or was we kind of expecting a tough start to the season with those fixtures?
I think we were expecting it, mate. You look at the fixture list, and I mean, people are looking at it saying, "Well, Forest is probably the easiest fixture away." It's been a bit of a rivalry there for the last couple of years as well. But look, the signs were there, right? What do we have? 1 winning 10, 12 end of last season. Oh, I think it's 12 now. So, yeah, 1 winning 10 back end of last season. So, look, the signs have been there. We've strengthened in a couple of positions, but look, we're still short. Obviously, the formation changes doesn't seem to be working. Obviously losing players like Neto and not having what I call an experienced Premier League centre back in there. Look, you're going to struggle, aren't you? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's massive shoes to fill. Neto's probably going to be starting for Chelsea, and it was a painful watch with his celebration and whatever else he did. But he's gone now, and that's that. But Billy, any team in the world, last summer Wolves probably sold 2 or 3 of their best players. They've sold 2 of their best players this summer. That's not sustainable unless you have a Brighton model where your recruitment is almost 9 out of 10 every single go. It's not sustainable, particularly with Wolves recruitment.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, and the players we've signed, we've probably got it wrong as many times as we've got it right. We've wasted a lot of money and trying to recoup some of those losses at the moment with the likes of Gades, Klasinac, if I pronounce his name right then, Sasha. But yeah, the season was always going to be tough, wasn't it? I went to the first game of the season away at Arsenal. Didn't really cause them too much damage. We had that chance first half. And then at the weekend, I thought first half we went toe-to-toe with them. And then second half, we just kind of capitulated. All the goals seemed to come down that right-hand side. Aït-Nouri was playing almost as a centre mid every time that Muneki was free.
Would you say that though? That I mean, I've talked about this on a various few shows. Would you say Aït-Nouri is a victim of the system? Because I don't think he's going to be wandering off the centre midfield by himself. Because we know the inverted fullback is quite a big part of the modern game. It sort of started with João Cancelo a couple of years ago, and now there's some fantastic footballers across Europe who are doing it. We've tried it with Aït-Nouri, but unfortunately then you've left Totti exposed. So is it fair that Totti and Aït-Nouri are getting all the criticism really when it's probably the system that's failed them in the second half as much as themselves?
Yeah, they're obviously getting told to do that, aren't they? Whenever I've seen Aït-Nouri in previous seasons, he's always been a wide player, sticks on the byline, doesn't he?
Chalk on his boots play, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, defensively down that left-hand side,
I think your formation, Ryan, but as well has got to be based on your players that you've got at your disposal. And if you haven't got the players capable of playing it, we both know that Aït-Nouri and Semedo attack. So when Semedo comes back, it's going to get worse for us. So for me, it's got to signify a change in formation. We've got to revert back to where we were last year.
There's a massive lack of communication particularly across the back line. I think we missed Dawson and maybe even the goalkeeper side just seems to be silent a lot of the time, not organising the defence and moving players into the sort of right position where they need to be. And that's where I think we are missing Dawson. We probably need to go back to that back 3 or 5, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Greta. Greta, I know I'm a big fan of Dawson, and him and Mario's capturing them 18 months ago, whenever it was the reason why Wolves are still a Premier League side, because those two they sort of helped change the season, didn't they? They were both instant heroes of what they did, added a bit of stability and a bit of strength down the spine. But it looks like, we're recording this on Wednesday after Tuesday in the lead up to the game. Dawson's going to play centre back tonight. It looks like it'll be in a back 4. So, Greta, do you think they're playing a back 4 tonight? Does that signify that it's going to continue, or is it a little bit different because it's a cup game?
I think we need to be a bit flexible with it as regards to who we're playing. In particular, those first 2 games of the season, I'd like to have seen the back 5 and be a bit more solid, and we can go to a back 5 or call it a back 3 when we're attacking. Against a lesser team, maybe we can cope as a back 4. I suppose we'll find out tonight. This is the first sort of lesser team, if you like, that we're going to be playing. The first 2 games, we didn't really expect to pick anything up, and that's how it's gone. We'll see how they fare tonight. Give us a good idea of whether it's going to work. If we get rolled tonight, I think we have to move back to the back 3, back 5.
Yeah. Dave, would you say after particularly, I think if Wolves had lost 2-1 and 2-0, it would have been what most people expected. But the fact that Wolves are on the end of a hiding, does that put added pressure on tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're in a difficult position because, like I said, of the 1 winning 12 now, and I think after our cup loss to Coventry last year, the season just ended up being a bit of a damp squib, didn't it? We dropped. One point we were talking about Europe, and then all of a sudden we ended up finishing like 14th. So I think tonight it's important that we can get a result, because I think the players, I know they'll be feeling the pressure if we don't beat Burnley. Burnley have got their own problems. They've lost 14 players, I think, over the summer.
Hopefully 15 by Friday night.
Yeah, well, there is that. But and then they had problems at the weekend where I think there was a good few of them that didn't want to play for whatever reasons, probably time for a move.
I mean, that's sorry to jump in there, but imagine that's your team and there's a load of players that have got you relegated and they're all having sulks. I mean, it doesn't always bode well. We experienced last year with what happened with Matheus Nunes and the reception he got. I'm all for signing new players, but it always concerns me if a player's stropping before he moves, because he's only got to have a good 6 months and then he could be stropping at Wolves. That's always a concern to me. Would you say that's fair, Billy?
Yeah, you never like to see it, as you say. It was the famous Newcastle guy who didn't play the last game of the season. Was it the winger? I can't remember his name now. He was out of contract and he had a move lined up. Was it to Bournemouth, maybe? He didn't play the remaining of the season, did he? Yeah, you want guys with good attitude. But I was just thinking then when you were speaking, Gary O'Neill a few weeks ago said that he needs some experience when you referenced Dawson and Lamina. And I know rumoured to sign Sam Johnston, but the young lad from Burnley and the young centre-back we've got, is that going to be enough? I'm not sure.
Greza, we're talking about experience. Let's say it's worst case scenario and Wolves don't sign another player, yet they don't sell any. Is that squad still enough to have enough to finish, gain a comfortable survival?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got enough to survive. You look around the teams around you and who you'd have in our team, and I'll probably comparing them to sort of, I'd like to think West Ham, Fulham, we're probably on that sort of level, and they've spent much more than what we have. They seem to be able to attract players. I mean, Smith Rowe is someone, for example, that I'd love to have seen in a Wolves shirt, but I
think astronomical wages, some of those. I mean, I think West Ham are prepared to pay six figures, and I think Fulham are. I don't think Wolves are now. I mean, it's alleged that Sarabia's Wolves highest earner on the best part of 90k, then the salary, and there's not a lot of more. I think they're sort of staggered down after that. I don't think Wolves are going to be that club anymore. But
yeah, I think that's where we're probably struggling to recruit players that have done it at that level. We're always looking to, in the bargain basement, if you like. Hopefully, we can get that next Jota or that next Neves, bring them in on a cheap and sell them on. And as we're finding out, that's not always the case. It doesn't always happen like that. And 9 times out of 10, you end up with a duff player and you move him on for less money, like Fabio, for example.
Well, I mean, for me, Fabio, I mean, I'm very critical of Fosun, but equally they've given us the best time I've ever experienced as a Wolves fan. European quarterfinal, FA Cup semi-final, consecutive sevenths, an amazing promotion. Jota and Neves, 2 of the best players I've ever seen play for Wolves. Jay Martino, I'm grateful for that. But I feel like after that third Nuno season, Dave, I think Wolves have massively regressed. Now, it almost feels like now, as long as Wolves stay up in the Premier League, that feels like the ambition of Jess Shea at Wolves. I might be wrong. I might be short-sighted. I might be speaking with my heart on my sleeve. But it feels like to me, the ambition has reduced, and now there's just a satisfaction with survival.
Well, look, they're an investment business, aren't they? So I think that was always going to be the case at some point. Probably we didn't expect it to be so soon. I think it looks to me like whether the club are for sale or not, I don't know, but they're trying to recoup their losses, aren't they? From over a number of seasons. And I think for us to be a success, to answer your original question, I do think we've got enough if we play the right formation. We're not going to be tearing up trees. We're probably a mid-table side. But I think for us to be a success under that model where we're selling our best players, our scouting has got to be on point. And I think it was quite evident that under Nuno, he had a lot of the contacts from Porto. We obviously had the George Mendes link. And under Lopetegui, he was responsible for bringing a lot of those players in, the Sarabias, the Cunhas.
Cunha and Lamina again, Sarabia.
Yeah, and we don't have that now. We don't have a European, somebody that's managed to cross the continent with years and years of experience. We've got a guy who's had one managerial job. So we're actually relying on our scouting network, and I don't believe that's on point. It's certainly not a Brighton. So
yeah, I think their reputation now, because everyone knows if Brighton signs a player, 80% of the time he's going to be a success, and they're bringing kids left, right, and centre you've never heard of, and it's fantastic. And they are the fully self-sufficient dream in the Premier League. They've managed to get the stadium 10 years ago. And now they've been in Europe flirting with football. They play attractive football. They're, for a fan, really, they're a dream, aren't they? Because they're not going to be bankrupt. They buy brilliant talent, they sell it on. The chairman doesn't have to invest any money. And I think if you are going to be self-sufficient, that has to be the aim. But it has to be with a chairman more like the one that Brighton have than maybe the one that Wolves have got. But you said, Dave, they're an investment company.
But you say that about Brighton. They are reinvesting that money this season. They've spent a lot of money. Seems like our owners don't want to reinvest it now.
That's a big concern. Greza, are you concerned that, I wouldn't say Fosun have lost interest, but in their toy, but would you say it's fair to say that they're just satisfied with survival now and that'll do, because as Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League is a massive advertising board for brands all over the world?
Yeah, I think they keep mentioning financial fair play, and I'm not sure how much of it is in relation to that, whether they're on a shoestring because of that, because we have spent money in the past and we've lost a lot of money on players like Fabio Silva, and Guedes was a lot of money. Podence come in and they're just not worth anything now, really. Then certainly not going to recoup those spends. And is that what they're thinking with the Netto money that has made us some money, and it sort of balances the books rather than gives us money to spend elsewhere? They're certainly being a bit more cautious, whereas the first few players that we signed, your Bollies, your Neveses, your Yottas, they all seem to work and we got promoted. Whereas it's not always that easy, and I think they're finding that out now, and they're a bit more cautious about what they're spending, rather than losing interest. They're a bit more careful.
Yeah, Billy, I would say I don't expect any owners to pump relentless amounts of money, but if they're not going to do that, I'd expect them to do the business well and be quite transparent. I don't feel like we get a clear story from those at the man at the very top at Wolves, because we saw the communication when the season ticket prices went up. Then people are posting emails of what he sent them back. I'm just concerned about the way things have been run from the top going forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. You never want to see your passion be turned into a business, do you?
No. We
all love Wolves, but it's the way the modern game is now. They don't care really about local fans.
Jeff said, I mean, I wish I had the quote in front. Maybe Dave or Greza can remind me of it. It's like, maybe if trophies or success or European football's for you, maybe Wolverhampton Wanderers isn't the right choice for you. I mean, I've definitely not said that correctly, but that's an outright. I said this to the guys last night. As a football fan, the one thing that you have is your dreams and your hopes, thinking one day it might be you as a Wolves fan to reach a cup final, your big day in the sun, beating a big side. To take that ambition away like that, that's not manage people's expectations. We go to football dreaming that one day it might be us. Is that fair, Dave?
Yeah, completely fair. That is, you know, when you're not one of the top clubs spending, you live in hope, don't you? We're hoping for a freak season. We're hoping to be the next Leicester, or we're hoping for a cup run or something like that. But I think that the statement was pretty outrageous. Obviously, it ruffled quite a lot of the fans. But I think, you know, does he care? I'm not sure he does. You know, I think the whole communication from the start of the summer onwards really has been pretty poor. Not reading the room with the ticket prices, and you know, and then continuing, you know, not backing down. And you know, we've seen examples of it before. You know, Liverpool did it and they backed down pretty quickly. But yeah, there's a refusal to budge there. I think he's looking at it becoming a bit more of I don't know, like maybe a tourist attraction. You know, I've noticed there's more tourists at Molineux over the last season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mixed. I don't really care who comes to Molineux, but not at the expense of the local fan being priced out. I mean, I have mates now that refuse to pay that money, and that's up to them. Tyler's not going to earn as much this year. I don't think he's not afraid to say that, because he's really upset about the pricing. Not that he can't afford it, because he can, but in terms of the principle, what it's costing for him and his lad, there's just some outrageous stuff for the treatment of the fans. But eventually, if you price out all the local fans, then you're going to have a sterile atmosphere. And then when it goes bad, then you're not going to have any fans coming at all. So let's step away from the misery that is Wolverhampton Wanderers. I asked the guys last night. I got a few questions. And I know from looking at our clocks, Wolverhampton Wanderers start, and although we're moaning about them, and we want to watch the game in about 8 or 9 minutes' time. So we're going to go through some questions. Dave, tell me who's going to win the Premier League.
I can't see past Man City.
Top scorer in the Premier League, excluding Haaland.
Oh, blimey, excluding Haaland. Salah.
Wolves position, final position in the table.
16th.
Wolves top scorer.
Cunha.
And Wolves player of the season.
Cunha.
Clean sweep for Cunha. Greza, on to you. Who's going to win the Premier League?
I'm going to have to agree. I think Man City are just too strong. Squad's too big.
Top scorer without Robocop?
Again, I'm going to have to be boring, and I think I agree with Salah.
Copying your homework here, Dave. Wolves' position at the end of the season?
I think we'll do a little bit better. 14th.
I will absolutely take that. Top scorer for Wolves?
Yeah, I think Cunha's head and shoulders above anything else we've got. Got to go with that, and he's my answer for the last question as well. I think he'll be our player of the season.
I think we could get some repeated answers here, Billy.
Yeah.
Premier League winner, other than Man City.
I'm actually going to go with Arsenal.
I thought at the start of the season, I did think this was the year they may catch them. Pep's last season, a little bit of controversy in the background, but they both started well. Prem top scorer, excluding Haaland.
I'm trying to think, and you just automatically think Haaland, don't you? Salah. Arsenal don't have one goal scorer, so let's go Salah.
Wolves' position at the end of the season?
15th.
We'll take that. Anyone saying 14th, 15th, I'm absolutely taking that. And Wolves player of the season?
It's going to be boring again, Cunha.
No problem at all. I hope everyone's enjoyed the show, introducing the final three of the Wolves Report FC, playing at Compton in the seven-a-side charity tournament on the 7th of September. Thank you to Dave Greswell. Thank you to Billy Lewis. Thank you to Dave Lewis. Guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you all and doing plenty of running for me as I'm trying to catch my breath. Look forward to seeing you in a week Saturday, isn't it, boys? So,
yep.
Catch you then. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys.